Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Thira Panachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Thira Panachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Thira Panachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya
What's going on?
Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya. Radharam Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Sri Radharam Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Okay, so all of you can see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, so maybe last session, may I know who could not join, like on 2nd of May?
I couldn't.
Okay, Divya, you could not join, right? Last session?
I also. So I didn't join. I also couldn't join. Aviraj.
Abhiraj. Okay.
Sir, I also not joined.
So maybe we can take note of this, Bimal Prabhu.
Yes, bro.
Those who could not join the last session,
Yes.
if we can share our presentation, or if we want to do another session, we can do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Okay, so today's session is basically developing good friends. Now, before we go to today's session, maybe I would like one or two of you to recite the last time the sloka, which we recited, I think. And maybe if you want, we can have it over here. So, yeah, this was the sloka which we recited last time, and some of you were unable to send the recitation. So may I know anyone who would like to volunteer, or if you want, I can do the recitation first and then you can do afterwards. Is that okay? One or two volunteers I need. Okay, so let me recite it. व्यवसायात्मिकार बुद्धि एकः कुरु नन्दन बहुशाखा ह्य अनन्तश्च बुधायो अव्यवसायिना. Okay, so may I request one of you to please recite this one? You can unmute yourself, or maybe Bimal Prabhu can unmute the participant and he or she can recite.
they can raise hands and then.
Yeah, you can raise your hand first and then you can go with the recitation. Any volunteers?
Vaibhav.
Okay, Vaibhav, go ahead.
व्यवसायात्मक बुद्धिरेक्य कृतनंद्र विशाखा ही अनंताक्ष बुद्धियो व्यवसायिना.
Perfect.
Haribol.
Haribol. Very nice. Okay, so with that, we can start with today's presentation.
Krishnang also wants to recite this.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Krishnang, please unmute yourself.
You can unmute yourself and can recite afterwards.
Vaisas namika buddhi ika kuruna jana bahusaka ya anataka buddhiyo va avasiniya.
Perfect. Hari bol.
Haribo. We'll
Okay.
request all participants, if possible, they can switch on their videos so that it is better for interaction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go to our today's session. And today's session is a very interesting session for all of us. And it is about developing good friends. Okay. So we start with this presentation and we will go through it together. There are some interesting stories that I have with me and we can go through it together. Okay, so let's start with today's session. And okay, so we start with the prayers. So I would start with chanting this prayer and you can recite after me. But before this, let me chant the complete prayer and the meaning. And after that, we can do the recitation together. Okay. So the prayer is Om Agyana Trimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvei Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master who has opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance with the torchlight of knowledge. Okay, so now I will chant and you can recite right after me. Okay. Om Agyana. Om Agyana. Trimirandhasya. Trimirandhasya. Jnananjana Shalakaya. Jnananjana Shalakaya. Chakshur Unmilitam Yena. Chakshur Unmilitam Yena. Tasmai Shri Guruvei Namaha. Tasmai Shri Guruvei Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda. Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhara. Shri Advaita Gadadhara. Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you for reciting the prayers. And today we have Mother's Day. So wish every one of you a very happy Mother's Day. And to all the mothers here, we are really grateful and thankful to you for being present with your kids on this auspicious day. So I have a very small verse which describes about little bit about mother, and this is from Skanda Puran. So it says, Nasti matrisama chaya, Nasti matrisama gati, Nasti matrisamam tranam, Nasti matrisama prapa. So it says, there is no shade like mother, no resort like a mother, no security like a mother, no other ever giving fountain of life. In Hindi, माता के समान कोई छाया नहीं, कोई आश्रय नहीं, कोई सुरक्षा नहीं, माता के समान इस दुनिया में कोई जीवन दाता नहीं. So we all know that mother, she keeps the baby for 9 months in her womb. For 3 years, she raises the baby in her hand, and for lifelong, she keeps her child in her heart. And with that, we wish every one of you a very, very happy Mother's Day. So with that, we start with today's story. And the story is Dinabandhu Dada. Okay. So the story goes like this. There is this kid who is very poor, and this kid has nothing with him, and he has a poor mother with him, and they are very poverty stricken. They have nothing in their house to help anybody. They are just struggling very hard for their own sustenance. So let's see what happens with this poor kid who is actually Dina, that is poverty stricken. Okay. So once in a village, some students were learning in Gurukula. Okay. And this kid was one among these students. And here you see is the teacher. So earlier time, that is the Vedic times, the teacher was not getting any salary. So what would happen is the teacher would ask the students to get something for his needs, whether it is family needs or financial need or anything. So either the kids would go and get it from their parents, or they will go and they beg. And after that, whatever they earn, they would give to their teacher or Guruji. Okay. So what happens is one fine day, this teacher announces that his father death anniversary is coming. Okay. So he is requesting each one of the student to give their contribution. It can be in the form of money. It can be in the form of, some things they want to donate, like some food grains or something like that. Because this teacher, he feels like to have a big celebration for his father's death anniversary. Okay. So you see that one of the child is saying that I would give some cloth to the teacher. And this very child who is Dina, who is very poor, and he's thinking that what can he give to his teacher on this auspicious day. So the teacher asks, okay, so you can go and get something from your house or from begging. So the student, he stands up and he says that I can't say anything without asking my mother. And therefore, he says that tomorrow I will come, and tonight I will ask my mother that what we can give on the day of celebration, which is his father's death anniversary. Okay. So this child, he goes to his mother. He's very much anxious. You can see that his face is so anxious, and with that anxiety ridden eyes, he is going to his mother and he asks his mom that, oh my dear mother, all my class friends have promised that they will give something to their teachers or to their teacher on that day when his father's death anniversary would be celebrated. So he's asking his mom that what shall I promise? Let's see what his mother says. The mother, she knows her situation, that they are very poor, they have nothing in their house to give, and therefore she tells to his son, my dear son, we are so poor, we can't give anything, but God is Dina Bandhu. So Bandhu is a Sanskrit word which means friend, and Dina means poor or poverty stricken. So one who is the friend of a poor person is called Dina Bandhu. Okay. So the friend of the poor, if he gives you something, then you can promise. Now think about it. The mom is saying to her child that they can't give anything, but asking to pray to Dina Bandhu. Now the child very meticulously asks his mom that, okay, I can pray to this person called Dina Bandhu, but where can I find this person? Well, mom says that you can find this God in the forest. Now this child, he had implicit faith on his mother's word. And with that faith, what he does is he starts traveling to the forest. Now, as he is going to the forest, he is chanting or he's shouting loudly, Dinabandhu, brother, where are you? Dinabandhu, brother, where are you? And do you think God would come and give him what he needs, or do you think God won't come?
God will come. God would come. God will come.
You think God would come? Okay, so let's see if there are any twist and turn in this story. So the next slide says that God arrives and Lord Krishna arrives. Why? Because this child was so innocent, but he had so much trust and faith on the words of his mother that he was constantly saying, Oh Dinabandhu, brother, where are you? Please come, please come. And hearing such loud chanting of this small child who was poor and so innocent in his heart, the Lord comes. And he comes and says, Why are you calling me? What happened? And this child says that I want to give something to my teacher and I want it from you. So this Krishna, who is the God, he promises this child that, okay, what do you want? Tell me. And the child says, I want to give yogurt to this teacher. And God, he says, okay, I would fulfill your promise, but not today, on the day when you have the death anniversary celebration. So that's the deal between Dinabandhu God and this child whose name is Dina. Now, after hearing this deal, the boy is very much satisfied and you can see his face. Now he has a radiant face and he has such a brilliant smile because now he's free from all anxieties and depression. And now he goes to his teacher and he says that my Dinabandhu brother would supply me yogurt on that auspicious day. And hearing this, the teacher says, okay, very nice. So the deal is completely done and it is closed. So on the day of this ceremony, the child again runs to the forest and he tells Dinabandhu brother, he shouts loudly, Dinabandhu brother, where are you? Please come. Today is the day when we have the ceremony and you have promised me that you will give me the yogurt. So please give me that yogurt. Where are you? Please come. And so Krishna comes and Krishna fulfills his desire. So Krishna, he gives him a very small pot of yogurt. And you all know yogurt, right? It's basically the milk when it is transformed into curd. It's called yogurt. Okay. So now this child, he comes and gives this small pot of yogurt to this guru or teacher. And seeing this, you see this teacher, his eyes are filled with tension. Do you know why he has this tension in his eyes and face? Anyone?
No.
Yes, Vaibhav?
Such a small yogurt will not fit.
Yes, because this yogurt pot is so small, he is thinking that how am I going to celebrate with this small yogurt? Because if I need to give this small yogurt to 1,000 people, I can give to 2 to 3 person, not more than that. So he becomes very, very anxious and at the same time he becomes angry. And you can see his face. You see that so many hundreds and thousands of people would be coming and they would be asking for yogurt. And if I have to give, I can't give to 1 or 2 person. I have to give it to everyone. And with that, he had so much of anguish on his face and he keeps this yogurt in one place. Okay. And then what happens is, since he keeps this yogurt in a place which is a corner place, the pot of the yogurt, it falls and all the yogurt slips off. And that increases the anxiety more and more because now what item he had in the form of yogurt, he thinks it's more. So what happens in the next slide is very interesting. So he tries to pick this yogurt, spilled yogurt, and he keeps it in the pot. But since this yogurt has so much of oil, it becomes slippery. So the yogurt falls from his hand, and it falls into like it spills over every place. Now he keeps and sees that even though the yogurt has spilled over, but the yogurt pot is refilled. So he tries doing this experiment again and again. And what he sees that every time he drops this yogurt and picks this yogurt, and he sees that the pot is completely full. And seeing that, he thinks that there is something miracle that is happening. And he thinks that this yogurt is not material. This is very spiritual. And that gives a kind of realization to this teacher that this small yogurt, even though it is small, it is coming from a brother or a person named Dinabandhu, and this yogurt is very mysterious. And this I can use it to give to hundreds and thousands of people who would come for this celebration, and there would be a wonderful feast. And that way, this person becomes completely satisfied and happy that his celebration would not go into wastage. Rather, he can give this yoga to each and every one of the person who would be attending this ceremony. Now, with that, I would like all the kids to participate in this lessons from this story. And I want each one of you to share what do you understand from this story? What are the lessons do you have learned from this story? And can you please
Always help others.
always have?
Wala. Always help others.
Okay. Can you raise your hand and then we can unmute you? Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay. So please raise your hand. Yes, Rishin.
Always help others.
Yes, that's perfect. The next one is Manan. Can we unmute and he can.
So we have to be we have always have to be satisfied from what we get.
Oh, that's perfect. Yes, to have the satisfaction. That's perfect. Is there any other volunteers, kids, who want to say what is the moral of the story?
You should trust God.
Yes, Rajveer, that's a very beautiful answer. We must trust God. Okay, so I think that's very good participation from all the students, and we are quite close to all the lessons which the volunteers had spoken. So the first lesson, one second. Yes, the first lesson is God is complete and he is supreme. Om Purnam Ada Purnam Idam. So this is from Ishopnisad, which says that even though God is sitting as Paramatma in our heart, but he knows our inside out, and that's why he is complete and he has a supreme power. The second lesson is implicit faith. So this child had implicit faith on the words of his mother and also on his friend whose name was Dinabandhu, who was God himself. And the very third thing is this child had resolute determination. And do you all remember what example did I share last time with a child who had the resolute determination to go to the forest and he was chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya?
True. Yes, sir. I remember.
Yes, that was Dhruva. That's perfect. So that's the first story of our Mother's Day special, I would say. Now we go to the second story. Okay, maybe we have one prayers to chant from this story, and that is Sri Krishna Pranam. Okay, so let me recite this sloka, and you can recite after me. Hey Krishna, Hey Krishna,
Hey Krishna,
Karuna
Hey
Sindhu, Karuna
Krishna,
Sindhu,
Karuna
Deenabandhu, Deenabandhu, Jagatpate, Jagatpate, Gopesha, Gopika Kanta, Gopesha, Gopika Kanta, Radha Kanta Namostute, Radha Kanta Namostute. Wonderful. So the translation is,
Oh dear Krishna.
can you unmute please? Because I'm hearing my own. Okay. Oh my dear Krishna, ocean of mercy, you are the friend of the distressed and the source of creation. You are the master of the coward men and the lover of the gopis, especially Radharani. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Okay, so with that, we come to a very interesting exercise, and this exercise is qualities of a good friend. Now, I would like each one of you to volunteer in this thing, and we would try to see that what are the qualities you are looking for a good friend, and then we would recite a wonderful story, which is the story.
Helpful. Being helpful.
Yeah, we would ask one by one. So raise your hand first, and then we would ask each one of you. Okay. So maybe we start with one who hasn't spoken so far. Krishang.
I think one of the qualities of a good friend is that they always have your back.
Okay. Have your back. Always is the word you want to have used. So always have your back. Okay. So that's one. Wonderful. Let's see who all others have raised their hands. So we go to Babhav. Can you please unmute Babhav? And yes, Babhav.
They should always help you.
Come again.
Loving.
Loving. Yes. Next, we can go to Manan.
So kindness. So kindness.
Okay. Yes. Kindness. Who else can?
Vihan. Caring.
Rishin. Can you please unmute Rishin?
I'm unmuted.
Yeah.
Being helpful.
Helpful. Okay. Vihan. Yes, Vihan. Go ahead.
Caring.
Caring. Who else we have? Amara, would you like to say?
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Believing.
Sorry?
Believing.
Believing. Okay. Okay, perfect. So we have 6 We want two more.
Bolo.
Any more volunteers who want to?
We should be faithful.
Faithful. Yes. And last, anyone?
Faith to God.
Faith to God?
Sir, can I say?
Yes.
Sir, answer is honesty.
Okay. May I know your name, please?
Sir, Divya Dave.
Divya. Okay. Honesty. Okay. So we have got 8 brilliant qualities of good friend. Always have your back, loving, kindness, helpful, caring, believing, faithful, honesty. Now
What
I
is
will,
always have your back me?
okay, always have your back means you are there for the person all the time, whether it is good time or bad time. Okay, so we say, right, a friend in need is a friend indeed. So it basically means that even if you have a bad time, the friend is there for you, caring for you, loving you, believing you, being kind upon you, helping you, faithful on you, and be honest upon you. Okay, so that's what it means. Now I have a wonderful example or story of Krishna and Sudama, and we will go through this story and we will see at the end whether we have all those qualities of all those qualities which you all have recited just now. Okay, so now we can unmute everyone and we can go to this story. So here is this wonderful story of Krishna and Sudama, and you can see that they both of them, they are studying in Gurukul, and they are in the ashram of Sandipani Muni. Okay, so they have nice friendship, they are living together, they are very happy away from their parents, because Guru Sandipani and his wife is taking nice care of them, and they became very thick friends, and they were having such loving exchanges with each other, caring for each other. And slowly one day came when they had to graduate from the ashram, the Gurukul, and they were really in anxiety that how they would live their life without each other's friendship. But they said to each other that don't worry, we would be there for each other and we would have each other's back always. Okay. And with that, they had their own personal life. And what happened was Krishna, he became like the king of Dwarka, and Sudama, he stayed as a very poor Brahmana. And one fine day, his wife was telling him that, our situation is not that great. We are poverty ridden. We don't have our grains. And every day we are looking for, or we are begging for some grains. Someday we get it, others day we don't get it. And we have our kids, and our kids are not getting the right nourishment, and they are not getting the proper clothes, proper shelter. We don't have right house, and everything is so disheartening. Why don't you go to your friend Krishna and ask him for something? Now Sudama, he knows that Krishna, he was his best friend, but he knows at the same time he can't go to his friend and ask for something, because that's not the level of their friendship. So his wife insists him, please go to Krishna and ask him for something, ask for help, because our situation is not that great. We cannot live life like this. We cannot give our basic requirements of clothing, shelter, and food to our children. How we are going to live our life? Now Sudama, he was thinking that if he goes to Krishna and asks him something like, help him with the financial crisis that he is going through, it would be very embarrassing situation. So he didn't want to go into such situation. Rather, he want to go and meet his friend as a friend, how they were before. And therefore he asked his wife that, okay, I would go to my friend, but I can't go to my friend like this. I have to give some gifts. So he asked his wife, is there anything in the house? And his wife said, there is some chipped rice. And he gets those chipped rice, which his wife prepares with so much of love and affection. And he thinks that, okay, as a gift, whatever I have in my situation, I will give this gift to my friend. So if you see Sudama, he was not showing off to his friend. Rather, he was showing his situation, but he was not speaking by his words. He was showing it that what kind of situation they are in through this chipped rice that his wife had packed. But when he goes to Dwarka and he says that I want to meet my friend Krishna, who is the king, and I was his childhood friend, this Dwarpal or the gatekeeper, he stops this Sudama and he says, you can't go inside. But Sudama, he insists, he says that Krishna is my childhood friend and we were such good friends. We had such thick connection with each other. We had such loving exchanges towards each other. Please help me meet my friend. Now this Dwarpal, when he sees that Sudama, he started crying and he started pleading. He sends a messenger to Krishna and he says to Krishna that a friend, a so-called friend has come and he's saying that he's a friend. He's claiming that he's a friend and his name is Sudama. Now, hearing this, you can see Krishna, he leaves everything and he's running. He's running and he is holding his breath. He's running with so much of anticipation to meet his friend. And they were such great friends when they were child. And after so many years, this friend comes and meets him. So he goes and he hugs his friend Sudama. And after, while hugging, Krishna is shedding tears and Sudama is crying tears. And while crying tears, they were hugging each other and they were showing such great intimacy that they have in spite of one being so rich and other being so poor. And after that, he brings his friend Sudama to this kingdom. And you can see this kingdom has so much of, so much of opulence. You can see there is this throne which is bedecked with gold and diamonds, and then they have so many things. And you can see this food that his wife, Krishna's wife, is trying to give to Sudama, and Krishna himself is washing the feet of Sudama because he has come barefoot and bare feet, and he is having so much of difficulties, that's why Krishna is washing his feet. And seeing all these things, you can see the residents of the kingdom, they are awestruck. They're astounded that how can this poor person is been given so much of opulence and why he is treated like a king. And Krishna now he is going to give Sudama the proper lunch, and then Sudama he becomes so happy. And Sudama started describing about his childhood pastimes, that how they had spent such good quality time in the ashram, and Krishna also sharing his experience with Sudama. And like that, Krishna and Sudama, they spend the whole night talking about their friendship, talking about the stories of their friendship. And in this way, they spend this whole night. And next very day, Sudama, he leaves Krishna, and Krishna comes outside to the gate and he gives a good farewell to Sudama. But if you see Sudama, even though his clothes are torn, he's not asking anything from Krishna. He's not asking anything, like not even he said any of his financial situation or his child situation or his house condition or his wife's pathetic situation. He simply spoke about his friendship, and thus they spend the day and the night, and now it's time for Sudama to leave Krishna. Now, what do you think? When Sudama would have reached his house, his wife would have chastised Sudama, saying that, why didn't you ask Krishna? Or his wife would have been very happy. Any volunteers? Blamed Sudama, right? Now let's see whether his wife blames Sudama or his wife becomes very happy by seeing Sudama is back. So here is the twist and turn. Now Sudama, when he comes and sees his small hut, he sees that there is this magnificent building which has been there, and he sees his wife is also having nice sari, his kids are having nice ornamented clothes, and they all were so happy with such big transformation that had happened. And seeing this Sudama, he was amazed, but he realized that actually it is Krishna who fulfilled all his desires that was there in his heart, in spite of the fact that he never spoke anything to Krishna. And that's how a good friend is. A good friend is one who knows his friend's situation, even if the friend is not saying a small word of his own situation. And thus, we would add one more quality of a good friend, and that is
Friendship.
yes, he is the well-wisher and he is the benefactor. So benefactor means he knows you. Krishna knows every one of us, and he is our well-wisher. And that's why even if you don't say anything to Krishna, Krishna knows what needs to be done at this point of time. You know, they say that there is everything for one man's need, but not for one man's greed. So Krishna or God would give you everything that you need. And how do you know that whether he is giving it or not? You can know this by these examples that I have. So each one of us are getting different kind of fruits, vegetables, herbs, minerals, gold, diamond, different pulses. And also if you see, every day, without a doubt, we get the sun, we get its sunshine, we get water, we get oxygen, we get to see such natural beauty and forest and everything. Now think about it, whether you have asked it or not, Krishna knows that this is something which is needed for every one of us. And that's why Krishna gives this thing to each one of us. And with that, we would recite a very famous slok from Bhagavad Gita. And this slok is the slok Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam. So I would first chant this slok completely, and after that I would recite it again. So in the second recitation, you all can recite right after me. Okay, so I will start with this sloka and then I will go to the translation, and after that we can recite this sloka together. Okay, so this sloka is Bhagavad Gita, 5th chapter, 29th verse, and the sloka is Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatva Mam Shantim Richati. Translation: a person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries.
Sir, what does demigod mean? Demigod.
Okay, demigods basically refers to gods like, or demigods like Chandra, Indra, Surya, Varun. So they are not supreme god, but they are semi-gods or they are demigods. That's how they are being categorized as. So all the gods or all personalities who stays in the heavenly planets mostly are demigods. So Indra, Varun, Chandra, Surya, Vayudev, they all comes in the category of demigods. Okay. Okay. So now I will recite and you can recite right after me. Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvalokam Maheshwaram Suhridam Bhutanam Shridam Sarvabhutanam Yatva Mam Santim Picchati Yatva Mam Santim Picchati. Okay, now one of you can chant and we would follow you. Can anyone would like to volunteer?
Taram Yagna Tapsam Sarvaloka.
Okay, you chant and we will recite after you. Okay, so you will chant small Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam and we will recite right after.
Yajna Tapsam
Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam.
Bhoktaram Tapasam.
Go ahead.
Bhoktaram Yajna Tapsam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram.
Sarvaloka Maheshwaram
Sudram Sarva Bhutanam
Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam
Gyantva Mam Shantim Richati.
Yatva Mam Picchati.
Bhoktaram Yajana Tapsam
Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam
Bhoktaram Yajna Tapsam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Sudram Sarva Bhutanam
Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam
Gyantva Mam Shatim Richati.
Yatva Mam Shanti Picchati. Thank you participants for volunteering. Okay. Now I have one more small story to present to all of you, and after that we will go to the summary, and I have another good exercise for all of you. Okay, so we would go to another story. Now this is the story of a child or a daughter who travels in flight. So this daughter, she travels in the flight for the very first time, and she was so happy seeing that there is the sky and this plane is going higher and higher in the sky, and then she sees this clouds and everything, and she becomes really very much mesmerized seeing the beauty of this sky and seeing the sun and everything. And all of a sudden there was some turbulence that was felt in this plane, and people started yelling and crying, and there was a big hue and cry because this plane was having a big turbulence. because of the wind that was going through this plane. And everybody was like going out of their place, and they were not able to sit properly, and they all had panic attacks. They all had such anxiety. But one old lady, she was seeing this small child, and she was seeing that this child was smiling, and this child was not having any kind of anxiety, was not having any kind of panic, and she was so jolly, she was so blissful, and she was so pacified. Now, seeing this small child, this old lady comes and asks this child that why are you so peaceful, why are you so jollyful, why you are so blissful, what is wrong with you when such turbulence is happening in this plane? Now, what do you think this child would have said, or what do you think that why this child is so happy and jolly? Is it because this is a very adventurous trip and she is going in the plane for the very first time, and that's why this child is very happy? What do you think? Any volunteers? Okay, so we have Bavav. Yes, Bavav.
So, because it's the first time she's going on plane, she can enjoy the beauty of the world.
Okay, so as per Bavav, since it's the first time, so this child is very happy seeing the adventurous journey. Okay, so next we would go to Rajveer. Yes, Rajveer.
What?
Yes, Rajveer.
He
What do
was
you
going
think?
from the first time.
Okay, so since this child, the daughter was going for the first time, that's why she was very happy. Any one volunteer who would like to say anything different? Rajveer has already said. Anyone else? Maybe we.
She was chanting Hare Krishna.
Okay, so that's a very transcendental answer, that the child was chanting Hare Krishna. Okay, so thank you, volunteers, for participating. Actually, this child was very happy and pacified because the pilot was no one but his father. And this child was knowing that whatever happens with the turbulence, with the turmoil, with this big impediment that has come on the way, the child has complete trust on his father, and she knows very well that his father or her father would save this plane and save her. And that's why this child was so peaceful, so jolly, and so equipoised. Now, similarly, when we all are living in this journey of life, we must know for sure, or we are ensured that Krishna or God is taking charge of us. He is driving the car, or he is driving our vehicle, which is taking us to the journey of our life. And Krishna is taking the full control of that, just like the child having his loving father who was taking care of this child or his daughter. Similarly, Krishna is taking care of all of us, and Krishna is in charge of it. Krishna is taking the full control of that. And that's why we should never ever panic in the difficult situations or circumstances of our life. And that's another quality of a good friend, that a friend always protects you. Okay, so with that, we would come to the summary of today's presentation. So the first thing is Krishna or God is the supreme benefactor. Second, he is the well-wisher of every living entity, even an ant or an insect. Krishna is taking care, or God is taking care of that small, tiny organism. And he is the supreme Lord of all the universe. Okay, So the summary is Supreme Benefactor, Well-Wisher, and the Supreme Lord of all the universe. And with that, we would come to the homework for all of us. So since you all have been doing this homework, we have a small homework for all of you, that every day, since this is a very auspicious day, it's a Mother's Day, and we would like to start from this very day. So every session we will have one homework, and you all have to do this homework voluntarily on a regular basis. So it's not that you finish the homework on first day and you don't have to do it on the second or third or fourth day. So this homework you have to do it on a everyday basis. So what is this homework? Can anybody can recite this homework for me? Maybe I will ask somebody who hasn't said anything today. Maybe we can ask Bihan. Bihan?
Yes.
Yes, Vihan. Can you please say what is the homework?
To take blessings from parents every day.
Perfect. Yes. So we would
To
like
take
everyone.
blessings from parents every day.
Yes. Thank you, Vihan. So every day we want all of us to take blessings of our parents. And since today is Mother's Day, let's start this good habit on this very auspicious day. Okay. So how many of you would like to volunteer? May please raise your hand. Who all would like to take blessings of their parents on an everyday basis? Okay, so we have one person only so far, is Rishin. Manan has agreed. Then we have Aviraj, Rajveer, Vaibhav.
Sir, I.
Okay, please raise your hand so that I know that who all are doing that or would like to do that on a
Vihan.
Krishnang. Okay,
Vihan.
Ihan, okay, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. So we have many more volunteers who are still not raising. Amara is left. Anushka is left. Divya and Vihan. Please raise your hand if you would like to volunteer by taking blessings of your parents on a daily basis. Amara.
I do.
Okay. So Amara has agreed. What about Anushka, Divya? Vihan has already said yes. So we have two more people. Anushka.
Yes.
Okay, so I think every one of us have agreed to volunteer. So we all would take blessings of our parents on everyday basis by touching their feet. Okay, and that's the homework for today. And with that, we would end our session today. Is there any questions or comments or
Sir,
Yes.
why was there a symbol of a microphone?
Sorry, could you please repeat?
Why was there a symbol of a microphone in the last slide for Hare Krishna?
This one you say?
Yes, sir. Why is there a symbol of a microphone? A loudspeaker.
I am not able to understand your question.
Why? Yes, that one, which is yeah.
I'm not able to understand it. Can you please write it down in the chat box?
He's saying that in this presentation we have a symbol of this loudspeaker. So they confused about it.
Okay, that's nothing. Just an animation.
What is it used for?
I have just kept it for an announcement. You know, just like you do announcement. So I have this announcement for the homework, and that's part of the animation. Nothing to worry about.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay. If anyone has any questions, they can ask.
Yeah. Anyone has any questions, you can ask. The session is all over, and you can raise your hand and can unmute yourself and ask questions if you have any.
Okay, they don't seem to have any question. Can we do a short quiz of 5 questions?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Ms. Natru, can you take this quiz? Like, I have one question that I would like to ask. That what is the meaning of word Deen Bandhu? Yes, please raise your hands.
Yeah, any volunteers to please raise your hand and we will unmute you.
Poor friend.
Yes, Abhiraj.
Who is that?
Friend who is always with you.
Oh,
Okay, a friend who is always there with you.
Friend of the poor.
Yes,
who gave this
friend
answer?
of the poor.
Who
Who told
gave
that?
this answer?
Vihan?
Yes, this is the correct answer. Friend of the
That's the
poor.
correct answer. Yes.
Okay. So, who can remember the qualities of Krishna as a friend? Tell me any 3 qualities.
Helping the poor. That's one quality.
Yes, Vaibhav.
So, Alusha.
Well-wisher, yes.
Love for
That's
his
quality.
Love for his friend.
What was that word again? After well wisher.
One was supreme benefactor.
Oh, benefactor.
Yes. Yes, Siddhi, you want to say?
Sorry, sir. By mistake, I unmuted myself. Muted
Okay.
myself.
Okay. So we had 2 qualities. One we said as well-wisher, one is supreme benefactor. What was the third quality? Anyone?
Sir, you did not say the third quality.
Okay, so let me,
Loving.
he is the supreme lord of all universe.
Loving.
And I gave these examples that why he
Who
is
is always
lord of
with
the
you?
all universe.
Good or bad time? Okay. Good. So,
Yes, loving is another one. That's right.
any other questions too you would like to ask?
Um, no, I think it's perfect. I think all of them, they have very nicely, enthusiastically, they have participated in today's presentation. So before we end, we can have a very loud Haribol for all the enthusiastic participants and also for all the mothers who have been engaging their kids on this auspicious Mother's Day. So we would have a loud Haribol for each one of us, and let's unmute and chant loudly. Haribol. Perfect. Nice. We have much more enthusiasm in our participants today. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much for enthusiastic participant. We'll hope to meet you again in the next session next Sunday, and we have homework for you, the quiz and also reciting the verse. So I'd like you to remember the verse and post it on the group. I could get only from Webho this week the verse of the week, so I'd like to request all of you to remember this
Sir,
verse and send it to us. Yes.
excuse me, sir.
Yes,
What do we need
Sidhu.
to send?
you can send a small video reciting the verse from the Bhagavad Gita, which we'll send today. You can memorize it and then you can send it. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Goodbye. God bless. See you in the next Sunday.